with Polymer Clay TV, and today I am going to show you how to put together this really cute shrine with some dimensional snowflakes in the background that hang and dangle. So there's a little movement to your piece, and the crackle finish, and molding some leaves, and creating this fun candy cane look. So let's get started. So this shrine comes apart like an easy puzzle. You just lift the edges away. This is the top part, which you don't have to use. It is a snowflake little topper and it fits right into the slots. Everything is precisely cut. So make sure that you don't cover these holes and slots with paint or glue because they might not fit together so beautifully in the end, which is why when I paint it, I'm going to keep away from all these slots. And you can see here how easily everything just slides together, and you just use a little glue when you're ready to put the pieces together. And you'll see how all the slots are cut so that they fit. I'm choosing to paint this with Pebeo Studio Acrylics 357 Dyna, which is a beautiful iridescent blue-green color, which I thought was just a lovely wintry color. The next part of my plan involves making some snowflakes, and for that I'm going to start with this is liquid poly clay. I like to use a paintbrush, and this is a dedicated liquid clay paintbrush. The color I'm using is opaque white, and I'm going to fill these snowflakes with this liquid clay, and really just the paintbrush is just to encourage it to flow where it needs to go, which is out into, the sections of the snowflake out here. That one you see can take a lot. And then it's sort of starting to flow, and then when it stops flowing, you just kind of poke it with your paintbrush and encourage it to get all the way out to the edge there. This big one has a lot of details on the edges. And because of how I'm going to do the next part of making the snowflakes, I'm not going to worry too much about it overflowing onto the silicone for this snowflake. I mean, I'm not going to be messy with it, but I'm also not going to freak out if it goes beyond the design. So while I'm at it, I decided to take some liquid Sculpey silver and do a couple of bows, and those will be for the corners of my shrine. Now that these are leveled out and ready to continue, what I did is I took some regular sewing thread. This is Coats & Clark polyester covered polyester. It's just regular sewing thread, and I always keep this color, which is a medium gray, available in my studio because this color blends into the shadows of things. And that way it lets people see your art and not the stitching or the threads holding things together. Someone taught me that a long time ago, and it's true. So if you don't have a medium gray thread, you'll see this works really well for that. So I just cut a bunch of small short pieces of it and laid them just on top of some of these snowflakes and let them sink into the clay, because I'm going to dangle some of these in the back of my shrine. And the next step is I'm going to mix some gray clay together to back them and give them a little more strength, because the liquid clay things, especially in a light, not so deep filigree type mold like this, can be a little flimsy. So I'm going to back it with some circles. So I've got all my circle cutters out, and I'm going to go ahead and just lay thin circles of a glittery gray clay over the back. And for that, I am mixing together a little piece of concrete souffle and white glitter, white gold glitter from Primo. So I'm just choosing to put, it's rolled to a number 4, and I'm just going to put these little discs sort of Just allow them to gently lay over the backs of my snowflakes. And I'm using the plunger cutters. They're great for this. And then I'll also use my larger circle cutters because some of these are just going to be too big for the plunger set. And the ones that I'm hanging, I don't necessarily want this disc of clay to go all the way out past, but I do want it to give some strength to the snowflake. So I'm ready here. As you can see, I didn't back this one or that one. I'm gonna just see how it goes. If they don't pop out of there perfectly, it's no big deal. I only wasted a little bit of liquid clay, so I can make them again. That's the beauty of a mold, is that you can use it over and over again. So I'm gonna go ahead and bake all this now for 30 minutes. I'm just gonna unmold these and then move on. Leaf cutters from the shop. There are 3 of them. They're graduated sizes. And I made some little 3 leaves usually looks really cute together. So I used the souffle green clay. And now souffle has this beautiful red color. Cherry pie is the color. So I'm going to also use this mold. And there's a little tiny thing of 3 holly leaves there. So I'm going to make a couple of those also. And with the red clay, I'm going to make berries. I believe this mold has some berries also. I'm not sure I'm going to try to shove berries down in there, but I can make them after. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple berries for each one of these. I'm just pinching off a little piece with my nail. And as you can see, I really don't have much of a nail, but your nails are good tools just to grab little bits of clay. Stick them on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and mold this piece. The number 3 is a really good number when you're designing. So I'm going to go ahead and make one of these. And then I've got the other 2 big ones, and I'll arrange them on my shrine after I bake them. So you just want to get enough clay that you can get down into your little molded areas. And you do want to soften it first, which is what I'm doing. I'm squishing and conditioning and softening these little pieces before shoving them in there. Otherwise, they won't pick up the detail. And these pink silicone molds are great. You can bake right in there if you don't want to demold it, or you can demold it now. They're fairly forgiving, and if you've watched me mold before, you know that I like to change how they look before putting them in the oven anyway. Okay, so there's that little guy, and look at that. It has the berries attached, so what I'm gonna do is take my X-Acto blade and actually remove these green berries. And replace them with red. And I'm just going to press them up against the clay so that they adhere to it. There we go. Alright, so now I have 3 little things of leaves that I can use to decorate my shrine, and I'm going to bake those. If you'd like to try your hand at making a candy cane, here's what you need to do. Just take a piece of white clay, or if you don't want it to be white, that's fine, and a piece of red clay. Okay, this is for a traditional red and white candy cane. And you're going to make a log out of the white and some snakes out of the red. Okay, so you're going to stick a couple snakes, maybe different thicknesses, around the perimeter of this white log and press them in real good. And then I like to squeeze and pull to start stretching it out. And then once you feel like those stripes are kind of melded in, you can start rolling. And you'll want to roll this as thin as you want your candy cane to be. So I just saved a piece I'll use later. But you can see that it's thinning out and those stripes are really smoothed into the outside of the piece of clay. And then all you have to do is hold one end still and twist. And you can see the stripe pattern go twisting all around the cane. And then you can continue to roll it until it's as thin as you want it to be. Make sure that the twist stays really good. And make it into candy canes or wreaths or words or whatever you want to use it for. I made the word peace with my little candy cane thing. And I've got a bunch of stuff going on here that I want to show you as I finish up my shrine. So I had painted the interior with Distress Crackle Paint and Picket Fence, which is a white color. And some of it was too thick, so I had to go back in and redo some of it, and I had fun figuring out where I wanted it all to go. So then what I did is I glued together part of it. I used my Weld Bond glue and a Q-tip, and I glued together the sides and the bottom to the back. And then I used some washi tape. I like to use the thin washi tape to cover up all these spaces where these things show. So I'll do a little more of that later. And then I prepared my snowflakes with some sparkle. So what I did for that is some Jonestone's glitter glue with Recollections glitter in the color Snow, which is just a bright white sparkly glitter color. And of course I used a coffee filter to catch my glitter and stuff. So that is done and dry. And the reason I didn't put this on yet is because I also have my glue gun waiting over in the side here. And I didn't attach the top because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to arrange all these snowflakes that I put the strings on. So here I'll get closer so you can see. So this is a snowflake that hangs from a string, and I'm going to let the string fall naturally with the snowflake facing down. I'm going to find all my snowflakes that have strings on them, and I'm going to arrange them face down, letting those strings just lay naturally. I have a few. Let's see here. I have a big one here, which I think I'll overlap with the small one. There. I see one or two more. Okay, here's some little ones. So here, I'm going to do the front row with these. And you will understand what I mean in just a minute. And I'm going to get my glue gun out, which has been heating up on the side. Okay, just a regular glue gun. And I'm going to go ahead and put some dabs of glue. You don't need much. I'm going to set that string into the glue. Alright, so I've cut off the excess string, and now when I pick this up you can see them dangling beneath. So I'll put it together in a minute and show you exactly how that's going to look from the front. But first, I still have a couple of snowflakes, so I'm going to put this one sort of back further, as well as this one. Here's my shrine, and I still have a few little snowflakes that I can put on, and what I'm going to do is probably use them in the background here to fix some of the spaces where I've got weirdness going on with my crackle paint. So, you know, that's what these are for, to bring it all together. And I'm just using regular glue gun glue to just put these in the background. The focus of my shrine, of course, is the snow. So then I also have these, which I can decide if I want them to be in the back or in the front. And this is another awesome side effect of not gluing the whole entire thing together first, because then you get to play around with a little more open space to work with, so your fingers don't have to cramp up trying to get into the small space. There we go. So I can write my word peace there, and then maybe put one of these in the background while I flank the front with those and my bows. And then of course the snowflake gets attached to the top at the very end. So just go wild with your glue gun and put everything all together and you'll be all done. Alright, so after glue gunning galore, this is where I decided to put everything. I liked that word out on the front so you could really read it and see it. And I put my little bows, and I put the one of the holly berries in the background and one on each corner. And you're really looking for balance when you do something like this, so try to space things out. It doesn't have to always be symmetrical, like a bow here and a bow there. It can be balanced by putting things across from each other too. And I've got my snowflakes all sparkly on top, and of course, I mean, you can go nuts. There's a lot more that I could do with this if I wanted to keep going. So you can stop when you're ready and enjoy it. So I will put some photos of what this looks like from the front on the end of the video. Thanks for joining us on Polymer Clay TV. This kit is available, everything that you need to make this, in the shop at polymerclaytv.com.